Good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of the 11th Ornament.
Torment.
Thank you, Jonathan. We'll start tonight's makeup session from yesterday with our whole crew minus AJ, who will not unfortunately be able to join us this evening. But as we had the last episode sans our martial arts expert, we are going to have a bit of a recap here. So, I'm going to give the overarching recap, and then I'm going to let a volunteer player give us a recap of last session in particular. So, the party, having inadvertently been a part of the resurrection of a Titan from the sister world of Aber, is bound for the divine realms of Ao, the Overgod, in an attempt to ask him for assistance in rebanishing Cernunnos, the horned god, the Titan of primeval growth and force, back to Aber, where Ao had originally segregated all of the Titans away from the world of Toril, where Faerun exists. In their effort to seek Ao, the Overgod, they have learned that he is a god who very seldom meddles or has any influence at all, except to keep very cosmic scale balance, which is why he intervened at the beginning of time and banished all of the Titans and kept the gods on Toril and sent the Titans to Aber. Two planets identical but out of phase from one another. As that quarantine has begun to unravel a little bit with the return of Dragonborn to Faerun, and now through that same loophole, the return of Cernunnos, the party is attempting to locate the river Styx, which they can use to traverse all planes of existence and ultimately find their way to the realm of Ao. In their endeavor to find the river Styx, they know that they must head deep into the Underdark, specifically to a realm near to the capital city of Menzoberranzan. To that end, they have made a tenuous alliance with the Sahuagin, a shark-like, selfish and ravenous people who keep their homes deep below the barrier reefs around the Moonshae Islands. But the Crestline Sahuagin know of an entrance into the Underdark from deep below the ocean, where the party might find themselves in a better position than trying to traipse across overland to find whatever entrance they may be able to. They have absconded, commandeered, if you will, it's a nautical term, a subaquatic vehicle made by the Lantanese artificers called the Scarlet Marpenoth. And they have acquired a set of chain manacles from a male drow who had fled his captivity along with his crewmates from Menzoberranzan, which is a theocracy with a matriarchal theocracy, where men are treated as slaves, effectively, and has now been on their way to see the Sahuagin sharkfolk of Kresalak there to enter the Underdark. They know not what awaits them other than the fact that the Sahuagin have offered their assistance. Sahuagin, normally not a very cooperative species, but they too find themselves threatened by Cernunnos and recognize that this party's attempts to send the Titan away could be their only hope of saving their homes. It's unfortunate we don't have Tour here, should we actually arrive at Crestline during this session, because Tour's people, the pirates of the Norls of Raltham, have a tenuous alliance with the Sahuagin, as both of those peoples are shunned by the farming, shepherding, soft folk of the Moonshay Isles, and must fight for their livings. During this subaquatic transit to Crestline, the party came across a massive seaweed forest. And that's where the session immediately prior to this one began. So, who wants to give us a recapitulation?
I can, I suppose.
Thanks, Jer. I didn't
All
even
right.
name you by
Yeah,
name this
but
time.
of course. So, in an effort to try to get around it, we went up to the surface and attempted to move around along the surface of the water. But as a result, we learned that the two engines that make the Scarlet Marpanoth go stopped working because of that. We found out that there's an engine that utilizes salt water, that creates salt water, that I guess creates salt from the water, from the ocean water, and then use that to fuel it. So things got a little stuck.
The upper engine siphons seawater and creates salt crystals, and the lower engine converts those sea crystals, those salt crystals, back into energy.
So because the engines weren't working, we started sinking, and that's when the robot pulled the emergency brake, which apparently is like a weird rod an immovable rod. There we go. So he pulled it, so we were stuck into the bottom. We found the robot's name was Taito. Vale left the Scarlet Marpanoth to investigate what was going on around the ship, where he was, I guess, spoken to by what we found out to be an aboleth. And while he was away from us, we can see an aboleth entered the minds of the rest of the party and to try to convince all of them that Vale was in dire straits and we needed to help him. So let's see. Okay, so we do all this, and one interesting thing that happens is, well, Dorn leaves, tries to scrub off all the salt and everything. He pretty much does that. Aboleth enters his mind and basically try to convince him to help, and he is essentially trying to help by getting the thing moving. Then he enters the minds of everyone else except for Bell, correct?
Correct.
Convincing them of all these things. But when he goes into the mind of Alucard, he, instead of trying to convince Alucard to help Vale, spends this time essentially explaining to Alucard how Alucard is a coward and is only concerned with his next fix and not actually ever helping anybody.
The Aboleth specifically said to Alucard that Alucard was the only one that the Aboleth felt no need to trick or deceive, because he knew that Alucard was a coward and a fool and was not going to intervene anyway.
Yeah. So that happens. So Tor gets pretty convinced to assist.
Yes.
And so he does a lot of things. So Alucard and Bell have to end up working together to basically stop Tor from unlocking the parking brake, I think is what it was. And eventually we got away from the Aboleth and all was good. And the last thing that happens is, while Al was in the room by himself, then you're right, so he went inside the ring.
Indeed. Anybody else have anything to add from last session?
How did we get away from the Aboleth?
Yeah, so ultimately,
We ran.
Vale had to swim down using his Manta Ray cloak to find Taito. Taito had first gone out on top of the ship and was cleaning up the engines, attempting to perform the maintenance that eventually Dorn would have to do. But Taito fell asleep and then fell off of the ship and to the ocean floor. And that's why Vale had to swim down to the ocean floor to retrieve him. Vale ultimately was able to cast freedom of movement on Taito, allowing him the necessary facilities to ascend back up to the Scarlet Marpanoth. Well, I don't know about mental facilities, but the the mobility. And Vale returned as well, actually having some brief combat with the Aboleth. But as the party ascended back to the Marpanoth, got the engines running, scrambled back inside, just as you were getting ready to disengage the emergency brake, the immovable rod, and take the ship forward, Dorn, I believe, saw a battalion of merfolk riding alongside massive sailfin, swordfish.
Fish.
Yes. Torpedoing down towards the depths. And that's where we rejoin the party, actually, as Dorn scrambles back, covered in seawater, stumbles back into the Marpanoth on the upper level, and Tur begins to reach in and disengage, causing this liquid to refill this glass vial and covering up this copper pipe within, which was glowing red hot. As the liquid submerges that copper pipe, and it returns to the dull, burnished copper color, the ship begins to whir to life and begins to make its way forward. As you can see now, I suppose that Dorn may have pointed this out as he's running in from the chamber room, the blood chamber room, transitioning between outside to inside, that there are a number of merfolk warriors descending to the depths from whence Vale has just fled.
Movement speed set to combat.
How about now?
It's not usually the complaint that I have. It wasn't a complaint, that was just letting you know.
Yeah.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
Vale will sit on the like with legs hanging. I'm imagining this is just like a banister here.
It is, yes.
Yeah, like sit looking out and like leaned on the telescope.
Okay.
All right. So I know that we're kind of in the business of like encountering things that you hear stories bump in the night. But that was literally from what I think, that was something that I like a scary story that I heard as a kid. I just thought was made up. It was an aboleth, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
That was frightening, is what it was.
wonderful. We should leave. There are individuals, sea-dwelling individuals, on the way down, presumably to attempt to deal with that creature, and I think we should let them.
Yeah. Vale is like checking his skin right now, just like.
I couldn't agree more, Tor says as he pushes it forward. And now actually at a level in the ocean that you are deep below the Manta Ray covered in the seaweed forest, and that is also behind you. You're able to proceed forward at a gentle clip and actually ascend a little bit from the incredible depths at which you are, to get a little bit closer to the surface and a little bit more to comfort level there for you. And you continue your journey onward. At this moment, Taito steps up. Request to come aboard the bridge, Captain.
Request granted.
Ah, superb.
Yes.
No, that was all.
Oh well.
Oh, we had already gone because I just remembered he fell back and pinned me to a door.
Oh, yes, yes. You kind of gunned it. This might sound crazy, but I fear that one of the crewmen has vanished in a puff of smoke.
Which one?
What do you mean?
You said one of the crewmen?
Oh.
I don't know. You all look alike.
I don't know that you do this actually. I think I was back there. Alucard was the one that walked in the back. He's the only one not here. I think. I look beneath the grates. I can't actually tell what where people are on the map.
Well, this is an air of melancholy and broccoli.
Broccoli.
What?
I mean, you said it, mate, not me.
Don't be absurd.
Okay.
I go to the room that I saw Alucard go into.
The,
I don't know which room it was.
That'll be the engine room.
Oh, he was in.
At the very back of the ship.
You just took him off. Sorry, that's what. Wait, where'd he go? But
Yes.
that's where he went. It's this back room here. That's very small.
Yes.
Okay.
You can you can smell brine, and there's a little bit of steam escaping from like a pressure release valve, and all around that there are salt crystals forming.
Alucard?
Make a perception check.
Like stick my head in a spot that only I could get into.
Yeah, you don't know where he went. My good man, I would never say such a thing. I've never even had broccoli.
Does broccoli exist in Faerun?
Yeah, why not?
Asking the real questions.
it's a man-made plant. It's not.
No, the men made it in Faerun.
I mean, it's not in
There are
the
men
room
in
with the
favor.
wine. You can't drink it anyway. That makes sense. These
Conduct
aren't
a thorough
coffins.
investigation.
These are hammocks.
Yes, they are hammocks.
I had real vampire flashbacks for a second. Just looking into them and thinking about it.
I mean, if you think about it, melancholy and broccoli, very similar words.
Yes,
Wisdom
and that other
with
one,
Mason.
melon
No, that was Iken.
cauliflower.
But was it really?
That sounds like Avatar.
Melon
That
cauliflower.
would be, yeah. I don't know where Alucard is. Has he ever turned into smoke before?
He goes into his ring sometimes.
Can I make a history check?
He does what?
For my time with him. In
Yeah, you may.
Canopy?
Sure.
To see if I remember him doing that.
See I just know that one of the last times he was on a boat, he just like turned out to be someplace else, miles and miles away.
Yes, that's what boats do.
16.
No. Okay. Thank you. Not gonna
That was-
explain.
That was actually
myself.
pretty awesome.
16. You don't recall Alucard ever vanishing, but lots of strange and unusual things happen around Alucard.
Yes, I am very well aware of that phenomenon. Sorry, where was he last seen?
What is this about a ring? I just went back there. I just checked. He went to the engine room, which
Oh, you mean this napkin holder?
Yes, that one. And I'll take it from him.
Well, then you may have it.
Thank you very much. And I'll put it back on my middle finger, where it was the last time.
is it the right one?
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
It's actually a napkin holder.
Just very, very large. It's like way bigger than my finger.
Put your whole kind of hand in there. No, no, it slips onto your finger, and seems to fit snugly.
Did it try to contact any of you?
Yes, actually.
The broccoli?
Yes.
No.
It was evil broccoli. Anyway, yes, it did. It informed me that you were bleeding out and that I should come down to assist you. But and in all fairness, I probably would have. But the length of the air tube, for lack of a better way of putting it, wouldn't have allowed me to get down there. So I, in so many words, told the voice to shove off.
Yeah. No, it's probably a good thing you didn't. It was terrifying. Like, imagine a squid, but like 3 eyes, but not a squid. No, not. I can't even. It tried to make me think. Actually, so I rubbed my arms again. Like, I thought it had turned to me. Actually, not to its side. He didn't have me, but he had minions as well. We got out.
Did anyone else hear?
I don't know.
I think that on table we decided that you were just stubbornly arguing with the voice in your head. Like, you're like, I already have a voice in my head. What are you doing? Like, I don't need another
no,
one.
that makes sense. I always hear a voice in my head. It's not...
But a different one than
Oh yes, it was
that which has become familiar to you.
Right. 2 is stronger than 1 in that situation.
Oh yeah, I heard a fucking voice in my head. It was all friendly and nice.
He wasn't.
I didn't hear anything. I just saw Tor acting suspicious. And then Alucard
I'm always suspicious.
looking No, you're actually quite reliable.
No, I mean of
You are always suspicious of others. You don't always act suspiciously.
It's a compliment. Meanwhile, I didn't hear anything. I did see Alucard looking rather hurt, maybe? And Dawn was saying that he was hearing someone, so foul play was certainly suspected.
Dorn
if I
will
put
start
on the
to
ring,
call.
can I talk to him?
I don't know, Jerry. That is a feature, is it not?
What is?
Someone wearing your ring, can they communicate with you telepathically, or is that? Am I conflating that with the ring of mind shielding? Definitely conflating
The ring of
ring of mind shielding. Just
ring
kidding.
of
Never mind.
mind. Okay.
Unless you know for a fact that you can. Can you talk telepathically with someone who's wearing your ring?
I know that I can hear what's going on outside the ring.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I can communicate with anybody outside the ring though.
Um,
I will check.
Barring any other magic you
Mhm.
might use. Right.
While that's happening, Dorn will cup his hands to his mouth and start yelling for Alucard.
No, he's
Alucard!
Yeah.
May I?
Hello,
ring?
chap. Where are you?
I'm
Do
sure.
we have it?
I have it on my finger. I'll speak inside and say, "Hello, Alucard. Alucard. Fish face, are you here?" Nothing.
I've put in the heading. We're going at max speed. I think I need a minute to myself, actually. Gentlemen. Lady.
I come and distract me. That's fine. Actually, you have more sailing experience than I do, although this is under the water.
Everything all right, Tor?
Yeah. Just, tired of losing my own free will.
Fair enough.
A lot to think about. He enters this small chamber and closes the door.
Do any of us really have free will?
I don't. Never touch the stuff.
Right. My good man, you seem to be cured of your narcolepsy.
What's that?
You don't fall asleep at random times anymore. You seem to be much more alert.
Well,
More
can't
consistently
fall asleep
now.
at a time like this. Then Marpanoth needs me.
Ah, well, it needed you when you fell asleep outside in the depths when you were trying to
He
clean off
also-
its engine.
he also did fall asleep just before this when Tor hit the engines. I was actually pinned to the door for a moment until Alucard walked in.
Now see here, I don't walk about pointing out all of your flaws and failures.
Oh, quite contrary. I'm actually pointing out a bit of growth that you seem to have achieved. You
I
are
have
no
never
longer
grown.
falling asleep.
I miss
Perhaps
all
He
the
the
runs
literal
on the
sense, my
same
friend.
energy that runs the ship when he was in the water. Maybe his engine was fueled.
Did you just say
That'd be
you miss Bob?
preposterous.
I did say Miss Bob. Bob
Oh, I
was
also miss
kind.
Bob.
He was,
Bob
you
was
know,
nice.
responded to you, even if he was the visage of a lich.
I mean, he
God.
was the best thing about that entire place.
And he was a cheery fellow, almost too cheery.
I don't know. I was quite keen on the massive orb that devoured all things.
Of course you were. Of course
Yeah,
you were.
yeah, no. You did bring that
Vale
about, didn't
like
you? You
knows
really
that this
did.
will affect everybody, but really wants to like jerk the controls to because Gorsak just said that he wants like, but he will hesitate because it will affect everybody and not just him.
So,
Yeah,
with
so
Tor
I-
having
right
retired,
Under it,
with Tor having retired, the Marpanoth on its heading to the Moonshay Isles, you suspect you have about 8 hours of travel remaining.
Ah,
I
wonderful.
would like to. Who's got the eye of?
Zaltek?
Agamotto.
That's not. Neither of those things
Nope.
are right. The eye of,
the other
Vale.
party has the thing that Sid says.
Yep. No, we have the eye of. What's his name?
Sabras.
Zavras. Right.
I think it's in the bag of holding.
Okay.
So me technically. But yeah, you can take it.
Thank you. going to take that. And I would like to scry on the main Sahuagin that came to the negotiations.
Okay. Yeah.
And see if everything is like okay. I know we can't really see like around them, but I want to see like the state of like one of their commanders, if they're like in distress or what's going, if like Cernanos has
Of course.
interrupted them.
You peer into the orb. That creature will make a wisdom saving throw.
Right. I'm not familiar or anyway
Right.
have any of his effects.
Do you know his name?
I cannot pronounce it, but we do know it.
Yes. I can't pronounce it either.
We'll call him
It's
Jeremy.
got like we wrote it down, but it is.
Yeah, we did.
Did
Is this Cresselec or is that something else?
That is Crestline.
It is
Crestline is the location? Yes.
I guess I could scry on the location, but we've never been there, so that'd be even more difficult.
Yes, quite. Okay. So I need to determine the modifiers
Difficulty.
for this. Yes. For which I will need to read the spell. For scrying, you have met the target, so it's a +0 to the save modifier there. You do not have a likeness or a picture, a possession, or a body part of the target, so it's just a +0. Regular old save. The screen turned bright white in my face temporarily. Wisdom save. Here we go. What's the DC?
I think the item has its own.
Yes, it should be 15. Should be 15.
Yeah.
Okay, so with a 4, he fails.
Nice.
As you peer into the eye of Sabras. Black orb. The black marble seems to swirl. The white veins coming together to create a white iris on the black orb, and then expand. Becomes reflective like a mirror. You can see yourself staring back, and then it becomes clear like glass. As you're peering into a dark space. It's clearly underwater, deep enough that sunlight does not filter down well. You can see bioluminescent algae or some kind of perhaps mage lights in kind of a shifting aqua green, illuminating the space. You can see the target, green-skinned, thin-faced creature with massive rows of teeth, beady black eyes. He's lounging in a room with a number of other Sahuagin. They seem to be communicating with one another, discussing. You can't hear. You wouldn't be able to make it out if you could. The scene is tense.
So when you say lounging, you just mean that he's not like prepared for battle or anything, but they are having a conversation that is notably
So he seems to kind of
tough.
be like back like this, but you can tell from his the way he responds, almost kind of aggressively to other points of order or contributions to the conversation, that it is not a casual one.
Uh, how long does Scry last?
Minutes.
10 minutes. Aiken will hold focus. Can I speak while I'm scrying?
To others, yes.
Yeah.
In your vicinity, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm doing this on the bridge. The Sahwagan, who was at the negotiations, is having a poignant conversation with I can't see them, but it seems to be tense. Perhaps I don't want to sink to conjecture, but perhaps we should let them know our vicinity to them and what kind of vessel we're in, so that we are not attacked.
I did do that.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah, we did do that. I figured I was like, wait, you're. Yeah, I did. I contacted them the day on the rest before this one.
Okay.
You might not have known that. So
No.
not, and
Cool.
Ken might not have. Is what I mean by that. Like, yeah. No, I told them yesterday we about our heading, and when we'd get there, he was surprised, at least by the vessel we'd be in. Although it's very different hearing the voice that's in his head.
I hope they are not having this tense of a conversation over our arrival.
If anything, I think they'd be upset they're not doing more right now.
What can we do to prepare for this? I'm not even sure.
I don't know if I have anything to add to that either. We should be clear about where we're going. Perhaps we should entrust the Scarlet Marpenoth to them in their care, so that should we need it, we are able to use it to leave.
Yeah, I kind of would like to towards asleep. I kind of would like to return it. I feel a little bit bad.
That is fair. But I do agree with Bell. For the time being, don't see any need for us to take it ourselves if they can take us by ship. If they're willing to take us by ship. I suppose that's pretty important.
Well, I know we've done some things in the past, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about what we're about to embark on. The Underdark is a terrifying place in and of itself, but our ultimate goal is conversing with a rather powerful deity.
I have something I have to do at some point. I need a few minutes to myself. Really, I don't. It doesn't have to be myself, but I just speaking to deities. I'd like to know.
Yeah. Also, what is going on with that? You're red all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not usually red. You're more of a white.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too.
Do you have any idea what's going on there? You just...
No, I really don't.
Because generally, in books and things, when you go from a white to something different, it's like there's some sort of taintedness, and don't necessarily want to wake up with bite marks in my neck if we are quite honest with you.
I think I didn't have any problem when we encountered the. I didn't have any problem when we encountered the drow and I smelled blood, did I? I've not had any of those urges since, have I?
I think
No.
you're the only one who can speak to the urges you're having.
So I was above table, sorry.
Oh.
I went to say something, and then I was like, wait, hold on, I'm going to say something, and I don't know if it's actually true or not. We've not talked about it.
Yeah, no, you have been feeling
I have a fair idea of the other parts of that.
You have a thirst and a hunger that you cannot quench. But no, you haven't been in a situation where you've had that same kind of violent bloodlust.
I mean,
per se.
Food doesn't taste as good, and water almost leaves me thirsty. But I've not had that streak that I had right after. I don't know if I'm through all of that yet. It might be just lingering effects, but I don't think this is that. I think this is something separate. What I will say, what I do know from our encounter with the Blackstaff is that Gehenna's moon is red. And that's all I have from there.
That is concerning.
And the high priest at the Church of Selûne did not recognize that I was wearing symbols that would suggest Selûne, but also saw something worse. So, I don't know, but I'm going to try to find out. I want to go ahead and do that.
All right. These next couple of hours are. Oh, I'm sorry,
Dorn, do you want to take? Yeah, Dorn, can you take the wheel for a second?
Sure. Happy
I think
to.
you just have to sit here. That's it, honestly. But it's better to have.
Notably,
something.
there is no wheel. It's a series of dials
That's what I said.
that set the heading. Yeah. A
This
real
gets
bitch
translated
to maneuver.
Beiruni, and I say the right thing.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm happy to take the
Helm.
series of dials.
Please don't take them. They're not to be removed.
Hey, sorry. What's your name again? Taito?
Taito?
You'll have to come to realize that humans and elves and various sentient beings tend to speak in figurative language rather than literal language all the time. So when we say things, it doesn't necessarily mean I say take the helm. I'm
must
not intending
ask
on
you
actually
not to tell me
absconding
what I
with it.
must and mustn't do.
Didn't you just?
Yes, well,
You said
I'm
I
the
must
first mate.
ask you not to. That's fair. No. What you asked was actually much more polite. You must ask. Oh, there you go.
Oh, thank the gods. All right.
Alright,
How
I'm
did
gonna
we get
begin
here?
Ritual casting, commune. From Waterdeep.
Not what I'm asking, but thank you.
Sorry,
sorry.
Speak for Taito.
Bell,
there.
what was your question? How did we get here?
In this conversation, anyway,
Oh. Yeah, the mechanized man. Anyway, yes, I will take first watch over the controls, I suppose.
Okay. Excellent. William, call to the chat. Oh, you have done this. You have done this thing for me, for the family. You contact your deity or divine proxy and ask up to 3 questions that can be answered with a yes or no. You must ask your questions before the spell ends. You receive a correct answer for each question. Divine beings aren't necessarily omniscient, so you might receive unclear as an answer if a
Yeah,
question pertains to
really would
information that
prefer
lies
to
beyond
get
the deity's knowledge. In a case where a one-word answer could be misleading or contrary to the deity's interests, the DM might offer a short phrase as an answer instead. If you cast the spell 2 or more times before finishing your next long rest, there is a cumulative 25% chance for each casting after the first that you get no answer. The DM makes this roll in secret. Incense and a vial of holy water.
Or unholy water.
Yeah,
or
it would
unholy.
probably seem that the unholy water would be more apt right now if it's what I think it is. And I'm using the. Oh, hold on. I thought there was more to this than that. Oh no, that was Find the Path. Never mind. I had been looking up like several.
Okay.
Things.
So how do you prepare this ritual?
I've seen it done before, many years ago. Well, about a year and a half ago, probably. It's the last time I actually saw someone cast Commune, or maybe was in a group. I think that I might have been in a group cast of it before too, at the church that I was at before.
Okay. Yeah. Sunday prayer.
Just yeah. But this will be the first time I've done this alone, or have even known someone with the power to do it alone, as far as I know.
And are you ritually casting it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You never know when you need that 5th level spell.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of anoint myself with the holy water, or I
Okay.
go to do it and I still do it. That's what I do. I think that maybe like, oh, hold on, this being might appreciate me just dumping it out, knowing that it. But no, that's so far everything else has worked the way that I've done it before, so I'm not going to try to change anything now.
Okay. And you're in one of the private rooms on the
No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this in front of people. I'll do it.
Oh, on
I'll
the
do it in the
bridge. Okay.
bridge. Yeah.
Oh, you're in front of us. Doran
Yeah.
will say, perhaps you could just put the incense out with the holy water. That might work, I suppose.
No.
No.
Oh,
When,
well,
I'll
I guess
they'll
I'm
be
not
gone after a
really
bit.
caster.
We're kind
Okay.
of contained here. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Yeah,
alright. It
the
smells
incense
quite
rises
nice,
up.
actually.
Just a kind of a snaking serpentine column of smoke. Ask your questions as you feel the sudden tension and snap of being tethered to an active spell, familiar to you, like a thread held taut between you and the magic that you're weaving, being pulled like cotton onto a spindle.
I know I can't get more than simple answers, but I have much that I would like to know from you. First, I'll start with simplest. Are you of Gehenna?
The smoke writhes a little, and then begins to curl, no longer drifting upwards, but curls into a ball. As it's rising up from the incense burner just is beginning to vortex into a tight ball, and then that ball turns over, and there is a slit like a cat's pupil, and it focuses on you, and you hear, yes. The eye, watching you now, continues to amass smoke. Coils of the rising vapor wrapping, layering around the eye.
Is this a play against my god, Solune, using me?
It continues to grow. Beneath the eye, within the smoke, a wide, toothy Cheshire cat grin opens. And it says, "No?"
Will you reveal yourself to me?
The smoke continues to rise. There is no answer this time. But as this ball continues to grow, you see the eye, the grin, and from around this ball of smoke, 10 tendrils roil off of it. Another smoke-like eye appending at the end of each tendril. And then it all goes up in literal smoke.
Do we need it? Does that seem familiar to me? Like,
Yes,
is
yeah, that's a legendary fairy tale nightmare.
How has Beholder? I read that correctly, right?
Hmm?
I was typing at the same time, and I realized I was missing a little bit. How is a Beholder taken and provide?
Dun, 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 dun,
Problem for
dun,
another
dun,
day. These, yeah, no, confirmed. And I'll start putting out the incense. My powers are coming from the moon of Gehenna to some degree. And that had something to do with it. Has something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need a rest too. Because I actually need a rest too.
Yeah, so this is your, for you guys, the knowledge, this is kind of your last 8 hours to prepare. I say that very...
Pointedly.
I think only Vale prepares.
Yeah, I can't. How do I get up the ladder?
You walk over the ladder.
I do this. I now can't see the ladder. And I'm... Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I actually want to change any spells, realistically.
Are you sure?
I have Find the Path. But no, I will be looking at them.
So it is not often that you say these things, so you're making me very concerned.
Well, I also, if something happens between now and then, I would have these still. But I already know. I think that I've looked through and. There we go.
Okay.
There was a spell that I definitely wanted to switch.
I'm just making sure you have, you've got all the spells you want. Before we continue. Does everybody have all the spells that they want?
Well, if we're just giving out spells, there's a couple
No,
of
I
mine.
don't actually. As a fighter, I have no spells. I want more spells than no spells.
Well,
There's snow spell like no spell. I'm sorry.
yeah. So over the course of this next 8 hours, Jerry, how long can you stay inside the ring?
8 hours, so I will pop out of the ring during unless Bell, I don't know what Bell's watch is. Or if she's taking watch, so.
Okay.
I
it'll
normally
be
take the
during-
second watch. Just
It'll be during the 8 hours, so I
historically.
guess to determine how long ago I entered the ring.
Mm.
And then
30 minutes ago.
okay.
So, with that being said, there is nothing further that happens over the course of your journey, and we will reconvene now at the final approach to Crestline. All members of the party being awake and present can have taken their long rest to fully heal up. I will long rest for Tor. And all party members being on the bridge and ready to continue. It's about 30 minutes before the final approach. You all begin to see through the shallows, because you're like kind of interweaving now between the archipelago to the north and making your way down around the island of Alaron, where the coral throne of Kerkaladir is. And through these kind of like sun-dappled shallows, white sandstone and sand beaches are overlaid with a lattice of water-diffused sunlight rippling across the ocean floor. You can see an abundance of life. And as you actually come around and descend a little bit towards this deep trench between the islands, essentially between the Black Tower where you originally arrived and the island of Alaron, you can see as you come over and crest a hill a glowing metropolis on the ocean floor. Green bioluminescence causes a haze of ethereal light over spires and massive nautiloid shell roofs and palaces that rise up with impossible architecture from the sides of this crevasse. And I'll actually take you to the Moonshape map really quickly. As you are now descending, having come around down this path through the Sea of Moonshae, and are making your way to Crestline. You actually begin your descent here, and are beginning to see the kind of what would be considered the outlying portions of the village, the city of Crestline. It's really a nation, massive space. But you begin to see Sahuagin and Marrow, a different kind of subaquatic creature, slightly different from Sahuagin, kind of like ducking into their homes, looking up at you nervously as the Marbanoth continues to make its way over. As the density of these various green-lit structures grows as you descend towards the center, accompanied by a large shark with stony protrusions over its brow and along its back. A contingent of 3 Sahuagin with massive curved scimitar blades swims up towards an intercepting trajectory with the Marpanoth.
Is Tor at the helm now?
Tor is back at the helm, yes. And he the Marpanoth glides a couple of feet forward. And again, when it's not propelled forward, much like a bicycle, when it doesn't have that propulsion, it begins to list a little, and the floor tilts, and you'll have to kind of like hang on to something as these creatures come up. The shark begins to circle, being unable to stop moving forward. One of the 3 Sahuagin swims forward. Taps its scimitar on the glass globe of the Marpanoth's helm. Ting, ting, ting. You look at one another.
Dorn will bow deeply, but not take his eyes off of the
Should I let him know we're here?
3 Sahuagin.
I'm just gonna show the copy of the contract that we have.
That's probably wise.
All right, as you pull that, rummaging around, pull it out of the bag, and just slap
'Cause
it
they
against the
signed it.
glass. They turn away and begin swimming back down into the city.
Does that mean that we follow them, or we
Yep.
stay here until our friends come and get us? Okay.
Pushes forward, turning a couple dials as the Marbanoth begins to descend at a slight angle. Very gentle, shallow angle, descending down and down, deeper and deeper into the crevice, before ultimately arriving at a place where the Marbanoth cannot get any deeper due to the sides of the crevice coming in. Then you can see below that, where these kind of seawall stones come into a narrow gap, you can see it open up even further into a massive subaquatic space. Which I must ask you to be patient for. All right. here. Lighting. Token vision. Save changes.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
cool. Wow.
You can see here the shadow of the Marpanoth.
Who's
on
this
map.
guy?
That's cool.
From above, but it cannot descend any further. There is a flurry of movement as you would find in any grand society or civilization. What's that, Will?
No, I was like, there's a big fish down there too.
Yeah. As
Always a
the
bigger fish.
As the Sakwagan of Crestline and various Marrow make their way to and fro, this seems to be some kind of harbor or shipping lane. You draw quite a few eyes, but the individuals that mill about, going about their business here, are less startled by unusual sights such as this than the urban creatures that you saw on the outskirts of the city. And you can see your guides, quote unquote, descend, swimming downward and entering this main building thusly.
Well, now what? I don't suppose there's air in that chamber.
Probably not. Hopefully they're going to get him, and we'll have to surface again. Like if we're gonna switch ships, and hopefully they have. When they offered us a trip, hopefully that they had already thought about us needing to breathe air, because we don't have a druid anymore.
Is there a way for us to breathe underwater?
With the druid,
I think don't we have something for this?
Yeah, Vale
with the
has a
druid, no. I can walk on water.
no. Vale has a cloak.
Oh yeah.
Vale has a cloak.
Just for himself.
Does it work like the Harry Potter cloaks? Like if we all get
It does
into
not.
it, then
It does not work that way at all. No.
And I imagine that the Scarlet Marpanoth is not close enough for somebody to be in the dive suit.
You could, yeah, one person could descend. It's only about 40, 50 feet.
Wait.
From where the
Oh, wait.
Marpanoth is down to the surface here, but you wouldn't be able to enter the building.
You couldn't enter the building. I see. Okay.
Yeah. That's like a direct descent too.
If one of us can go down, they'll take it off and hold it out to Belle, at least for now, before we figure things. If you want to figure out what's going on, I think you're better suited than I am.
All right.
Now,
I will take the thingamabob and go down to the whatchamacallit.
Is that right?
Man, I hope so.
Tell me what you're doing specifically.
I'm going to go and grab the
Cloak of the Manta Ray.
Cloak of the Manta Ray and go down and talk to the sandwagon people.
Okay.
By going
Does that
through
require
that.
attunement?
Nope.
Okay. Perfect. Forgive me while I get some stuff together.
Together.
Even though I had tons of time to do this earlier.
I think they just took cats and put them at microphones for these noises.
I don't think that's what happened, but I cannot
I think that's exactly what they did.
cannot
Put some
argue with
reverb
you.
filter on there. Meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Okay. Yeah, as you put on the cloak of the Manta Ray, the inside feels moist.
Moist.
Where it should be like a silk lining, it feels like slightly moist, but when you pull your hand away, it's dry. And as you head to the airlock room, it's closing that behind you, climbing up the ladder. Room slowly fills with water. As you lift the hood, you sense a safe bubble around your face. And as the water climbs up over you, it is as easy to breathe as air.
All right. I will venture out into
All
the
right.
brave new world.
All right. Let's see. Here is Belle. As you swim down. Swimming down, you have a 60-foot swim speed with the cloak on. And you find yourself at this plaza. Other Muro and Merfolk and Sakwa can give you a wide berth.
Do I see a crowd where I should go? Is there signs? Is there someone with a bell sign? 11th Ornament?
Nothing like that, unfortunately. A couple moments of kind of just looking about bewildered, before from this hut, this structure, which you can see now, it's got this kind of shell-like cap, but within it burrows. It's a much larger structure than it appears to be. And all of them appear to be that way, where they have this just burrowing down tunnels into the depths. A large creature, about the size of a centaur, swims out towards you.
Hello?
Hello.
Would you like to speak telepathically? I realize this might be painful for you to speak in this specific language.
That is an unexpected consideration.
Well, I'll try to connect psychically with my bro man.
Okay. Yeah, you do.
Got it for an hour. We could speak here a little easier, I suppose. It's temporary. Don't worry. You haven't invited me in for the long hauls. Just, I'm Belle of the 11th Ornament.
It is a pleasure to welcome you to Crestline, Belle.
We've come seeking the fulfillment of an agreement we made with one of yours,
Yes.
for passage.
I was made aware of your arrival.
Um,
Will your companions be joining you?
Well, they would love to. However, we are only able to send one of us at the time, and be able to breathe. Unless there's some sort of accommodation you may be able to provide for us.
Hired to handle cataclysmic destruction. Can't breathe underwater.
Well, that is how
Swims
these
up.
things go, you know.
He swims up to the Marpanoth and places his hand on the glass. They will have to come out.
Naturally.
I can provide water breathing for your companions. For 1 day's cycle. Should be sufficient to reach our destination.
Good to know. I'll let them know. And I will swim back up to the Marpanoth.
Take your time, make your preparations. Be presentable.
We're gonna be
If you
there
are
in a
to meet the
day.
king.
Is there anything that we should know, any decorum that we should follow? We're very grateful for the assistance, and we'd like not to offend.
Our emissary to the convoy, the summit, spoke with bold language. Our king would like to confirm that he made a prudent choice.
Message received. I will speak with you within the hour, whenever we're ready.
You should know, however, that all of the denizens of the Moon Shays respect fairy law, and you are guests here. Take your time.
Very well. Belle will go back into the little chamber lock thing, and I suppose wait for the water to be pumped out as to not flood the interior of the Marpanoth.
Which takes about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I'll come out. They're going to be able to provide water breathing for us. It's only going to be for a day. They believe that we will be able to make it to our destination, or at least to breathable air, within that day. We are to meet in front of the king, their king at least, before we depart, in order to show that we are capable and that they made a good decision. So I would suggest putting on your best, showing your armor, maybe, displaying some of your arms. Not like your arms, but Tor, show your arms, but like, you know what I'm saying. You want to look the part. They also say they respect fairy law very much here. So perhaps the fact that I was taught by the wind of whatever Tumnus said, Thomas, not Tumnus, that's a different. Whatever Thomas said he was.
All together.
Do we have any trophies of our travels? I don't know.
Are you the sort to keep trophies?
I have several daggers. Hi, Mom.
I don't believe we have trophies per
I don't
se.
But we just need to show ourselves confident, which I have no doubt we'll be able to do.
more of a point of order question. If we only have anything that will get ruined by water, open the bag of holding. Say a contract or just general inks and paper.
I'll put all my papers and everything in there.
Question: How
Um,
does flame
I
tongue
guess arrows,
operate
too.
underwater?
It's steam tongue now.
It's a plasma blade, so I think it works just fine.
You don't know.
I feel like the question is worth asking. Like, am I gonna roll up
You're
in
right.
there like Kit Fisto from Jendy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars 5-minute shorts, circa like 2002?
I hope so. That's exactly
but
what
that
I
was
was
wrong.
envisioning before
Lightsabers
you even began
definitely
describing
wrong.
it.
This works underwater.
Tour
Yes,
looks at his
don't do
swords.
They'll walk into water just fine. Don't worry.
I equip my.
I will assume the Oni.
Okay.
I have
Uh,
the shield on. Like that's a trophy of a degree. They might know what alligators are.
Belle regrets the fact that she has nothing. She just I'm concealed all the time.
Regerts.
I assume that when Alucard came out of the ring, he did get his ring back from Belle.
Yes, I apologize. I meant to specifically mention that point as you were all making your journey inward. We'll just say that at this point, Alucard.
You know, I thought it would feel like something whenever you came out of the stake. It just doesn't.
My ring, please. And
I
Alucard
thought
holds
for
out
sure
his hand.
Alucard was gonna make a sex joke in response to that.
What crawled in your... Never mind, here you go. Look presentable, threatening, capable. Don't
I
s-
heard everything that went on. I know what you said.
You're right.
Of course I'm fine. Why wouldn't
roll
I
it?
be?
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah, absolutely. DC 10.
Yeah, he's not. That was more of a sarcastic guess than anything.
I know, but I want to roll dice.
Click like math rocks.
I can't. Where's the thing? There it is.
Wow.
This is why we roll dice.
You just sarcasm goes right over your head for once.
Bella's super focused on what we're about to do.
Yeah, apparently.
Right, good to know then. Here's your ring. Next time, try not to leave it on the floor. Maybe. Robot almost had it there. Well, the last little bit of preparedness. Is there anything that we want to do? Say, anything? These past couple days have been nice, minus the aboleth, but all things considered, then we did just hijack a submarine vehicle, submarinic, sub-ocean, sub-water, underwater piloted steed by mysterious magics. That's the title of the episode.
For
right?
the nth time in the span that we've known each other, we are walking into almost certain doom and untold danger.
Is that not exactly what you want?
I guess it's been a pleasure. Well, the thrill of a fight is exciting, Alucard. I would see none of you harmed if it were within my power to stop it. Here's to another successful adventure.
Belle will pull out the jug of alchemy
Mhm.
or also known as the alchemy jug, to normal people, and
Sure. Very
pour
different.
pour a bit of the whiskey, or at least offer it to everyone. This is not a sarcastic play on you, Alucard. This is merely a show, camaraderie to the 11th Ornament.
To the 11th Ornament.
Cheers, mate.
I actually will have I'll then not take it, but I'll pour some water into a glass. Hand one to Alucard as well.
Here.
Prost. Here, here, good man. Where's mine?
Righto.
It's Taito.
Shall we?
I will reach out to telepathically to Homeboy.
Mhm.
I believe you're ready. Just what do you need from us?
Well, you will have to come out.
All right. Into the airlock, then, everyone.
As he you can see him swimming up to meet you.
And
Yep, as you all climb into the small room, close the door behind you. Perhaps one of you thought to cut the engines and engage the emergency brake.
Tor did all that. That's why none of us said anything.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And as you once again slowly open the hatch, the room quickly begins to fill with water. And in short order, you are all... As you lift it up, you can see the bubbles. Massive bubbles of air that escaped from this room, glistening as they race towards the surface. You swim up out, and above the Marpanoth, you are greeted by this gentleman who reaches out with aquamarine light from his hand and magical lines simulate gills on the sides of your necks. And you all have water breathing.
Did I have a question? In the water, might be a weird question. In the water, if you cast a fly spell on you, can you self-propel yourself through the water without having to like try and freestyle swim?
Sure.
Okay.
I had to think
That was
about
a weird chore.
I had to think about it.
I feel like you were sitting there like, why would I hate myself for allowing this later?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Trying to consider what. But no. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Okay.
I
so
will activate Flame Tongue. Not
Okay.
necessarily
so a
just
fly
in-
speed counts as a swim speed?
Tell me how. No, not necessarily. The fly spell does not provide necessarily a swim speed, but I also don't see a good reason why it should not. You can't move faster than 30 feet. You can't use it to move the 60 feet that fly would provide.
All right, is that
Gotcha.
to say we'll cut your speeds in half, or does that to say you just can't go more than 30 feet?
That is to say that it does not. When you use the fly speed to navigate around via swimming, it is the use of a spell for pure flavor. You will. It does not provide any additional speed from your speed.
But it doesn't cut your speed in half though.
No, it changes your speed not at all.
Okay. I'm asking because I
So-
have a feature that can give myself a fly speed equal to my walking speed. And so I'm asking, does that mean my speed will be halved? Does that mean I will simply have 30-foot movement in the water?
No, I would say it won't change your speed. You still have a 15-foot movement in the water because you don't have a swim speed. People move through the water at half speed.
Okay.
So that is a good clarifying point.
Okay.
If you wanted to give yourself fly, it would just be, I would say, over an extended period of time, you would have advantage. You wouldn't have to make potential athletics checks that other people might have to make to swim
Okay.
by using the magic. But otherwise, it's pretty poor use of the spell, in my opinion,
Okay. All right.
given how I'm ruling it.
Mhm.
Unless you just want it for flavor, which by all means. As you all kind of grasp your necks and breathe in the salt water, the cool salt water, the incredible chill of the water as well seems to acclimate as you breathe it in, and it fills your body, and your inside chills down to roughly the same as your outside, and you're kind of comfortable. Yeah, Cameron, tell me in what world activating your lightsaber is not threatening, and I'll see what the response is.
Well, it's mostly I hold it up. I got your answer. I hold it up as though it's a like a torch, like I'm trying to light my way.
Okay, so you hold it up above your head like this, and there is a rapid roil as you are instantly vaporizing all of the water immediately around Flame Tongue, and there's just a curtain of bubbles rising up from the length of the blade. Very hot steam that's just rapidly ascending. It does provide some light, but the sound of the combustion of the bubbles and the curtain is highly disorienting.
Does anybody react
Yeah, for
Bell
sure.
reacts.
in a poor way? to
Everyone
this?
basically reacts somehow. Your companion, who has offered you water breathing, does kind of back up and hold out his Trident.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I was just trying to see better. I can extinguish this if it's making you uncomfortable.
I understand that you are capable warriors of the surface. Your reputation precedes you. You would do well not to startle us, I think.
Apologies. Doran will extinguish Flame Tongue and sheath it, latch it into his
I
belt.
think is your microphone using the right microphone?
Maybe not. I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
there, it's good. It's doing
Oh,
it
there
now.
it is.
I don't know
Yeah.
what
Sorry, it was probably I had it a little low.
That's okay. Very directional.
Clearly.
As he kind of pulls back, has the Trident in hand now.
We honor
Shall
fairy
we?
law, so while you are here, you are protected as guests. Outlandish, sudden motions that might be seen as violent could avoid that protection.
Thank you. For the explanation. He will. I'll sheath Flame Tongue.
Please follow me.
He swims into one of these various buildings. Basically, the map here is just for flavor now to give you a sense of the space. But as you descend, you find stone-cut tunnels lit by these same glowing orbs, seaweed, maneuvering deeper and deeper until ultimately you are led. These various off chambers here as well and around. It's really unusual to see a city built underwater. Doesn't have the same limitations. So like there are I guess what we would see as like elevators, but no cars, right? It's just shafts because individuals can swim freely up and down. So it's just these various floors where people are kind of taking a very sort of polite and organized, like walking etiquette, paths down these chutes and tunnels, and everywhere you can see these. A large part of the construction is made up of these massive shells and hollowed out dead anemones. And ultimately you are led to a very luxurious looking waiting room. The floor here is mother of pearl, or rather the inside of a nautiloid shell. It shimmers with color as these bright lights, white orbs, mage light or bioluminescence, you're not sure, illuminates the room. In the center there is a large circular couch, basically these cushions all facing outward, of very soft sponge-like material, atop which they make a circle, and atop which in the center there is a platter with various hors d'oeuvres and food, only some of which you recognize. You do recognize caviar, and there are some snails as well. Other things are just beyond your comprehension, how whatever kind of culinary art might be utilized in this space to create these dishes. They look fancifully put together. The plating is interesting, but you're just not sure what you're looking at for the most part. Everywhere you go, you do see kind of a different side of the Sahuagin. Always you have been told that these are a harsh and violent people, but meeting them in their home, where they keep their women and children, in their society, is kind of an eye-opening. Once again, you are reminded that all beings, to a degree, seek comfort and peace. They just have various ideologies and ways of acquiring that. But you also sense that the culture here is very different. There is definitely a bravado, an emphasis on violence, as like physical power equates to political power in a lot of ways. So you can see the guards of this chamber. You're left with a pair of shell armored guards, and they are massive behemoth humanoids. Would be on par in size with Goliaths on the surface. These enormous beings, which each have 4 arms, 2 arms on each side of their torso. These fins that flare out behind their jaw lines. Black eyes that make it impossible to tell exactly where they're looking. They kind of just stare ahead, much like Beefeater or Palace Guards. They kind of stare ahead. But with the black eyes, pupilless, you can't see kind of what they're focusing on. It's highly unsettling. They have massive tridents in hand. Tridents. Sorry, Trident is the Greek divinity. Massive tridents in hand that would be it would be a feat of physical force if even these massive creatures were able to swing them above water. That's how big they are. Below water, you're certain that the musculature of these creatures can wield these weapons quite deftly, but the mere heft of them is, if you were to get your hands on them, even in the semi-weightlessness of the subaquatic terrain, you're certain that most of you would be unable to swing them.
I imagine Tor wants to try.
I imagine he does too. I doubt he will be given the opportunity.
I can do it, I bet.
Mhm.
Just kidding. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you are left here by your friend who met you.
After your
Is it
audience,
rude not to eat the hors d'oeuvres, or is it rude to eat the hors d'oeuvres, or?
no, quite as guests to our lordship, please be welcome.
You can see him trying to, like, he clearly knows Common, but is more accustomed to listening to people speak Common than trying to speak it himself. And you can definitely see him avoiding those words with the plosives, with the frictive V's and F's and the TH's, where anything would come in contact with his razor sharp teeth, his lips or his tongue would have to contact his teeth. He like would approach a word like that and have to change his mind about what to say.
by all means, please partake and enjoy. Post your audience with the king, I will return to accompany you to your resting place. It is at that time we will know if you are to continue or be escorted back to the surface.
Thank you for your hospitality. What do we call you?
Jonathan, you're muted.
If you'd rather speak to me, it's still available for a time. Instead of...
He sends a word to your mind that your vocal cords cannot reproduce.
His name's Charlie. Just call him Charlie. Don't actually call him Charlie, but we're just gonna go with that, alright?
You may call me what you would like.
Charlie! Good.
suppose.
Thank you, Charlie.
Do not show gratitude. I am merely complying.
He swims away.
Seems like this is a place
Still,
where
thank you for your
diplomacy...
compliance.
Seems like this is a place where diplomacy's not going to necessarily get us where we need to be.
Gratitude for gratitude's sake can be equally rewarding.
Unless it is seen as something that is offensive, in which case it can be a detriment.
Either way, let's just go.
I'm going to try the food, actually.
Okay, yeah. There's a spread before you. What would you like to try?
Anything and everything that I don't recognize.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
I'm so good at that.
So gonna be any mahi-mahi?
There's nothing that appears cooked in any way.
Oh.
Anything that I do recognize.
Yeah, but it's all brined.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's some, like I said, there's some stuff that you do recognize. There's some caviar, escargot. Um, there are little octopi on brass needles that are alive, but they're pin-cushioned.
That feels bad.
That feels Korean.
I got a 14.
Oh, okay,
I-
Mason. Yeah, with a 14, as you eat something, as you open your mouth to kind of like, I don't know, aerate it a little bit, black ink just like squirts from your mouth, and it's just like a gelatin pod of squid ink.
I want to say that's a sauce that you just ate. I want to say you just ate like a sauce packet.
I take
Goodness.
one of the little octopus and like swirl it in the ink and then eat the octopus.
Okay, yeah. Make a insight check.
On the octopus. Hold on. Okay, 11.
11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good to know. Everyone else can make an insight check.
Great. I'm so good at insight. Oh, I'm
I
pretty
mean,
good at insight.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you think it tastes as good as it did before. Fine, interesting, strange combination. Dorn and Bell, you notice a look of curiosity from the two guards watching you. They are intrigued, but it's very subtle on these very alien faces, as if they have never thought to try that, but now they want to.
I mean, I feel like this is just the way that Mason eats and how people see that.
Yeah.
Bell is hold on, I don't know. I need to
I would say Alucard is probably largely very distracted.
Bell would 100% offer. Would you like to try it? Seems pretty good. You know.
It
They
was
do not
rather
respond.
tasty.
All right, well, it's there. I know it's kind of awkward. You're guarding us, offering food, but
When we're
Yeah.
not looking.
I turn around.
Okay.
I guess we're just waiting until
You are
until we're
waiting on the
retrieved.
DM now.
This is the DM waiting
It's
screen, brought to you by our DM. DM waiting screen. It's a screen you look at while you're waiting for your DM. How long will it take? Who knows? Will I be done talking by the time it gets done? I sure hope so. And you do too. DM waiting screen. Only on the 11th Ornament.
Now for a paid advertisement.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Brought to
Have
you by
ever
Jerry.
felt? I'm joking. We're not paid by or sponsored by anyone. Don't
Except Jerry.
believe me. Have you ever felt the burning desire to go and get yourself in a whole heaping mess of a situation?
Have you ever
Go
considered
make some friends at Mesro.
Have you ever considered the consequences of your actions?
Never.
The 11th Ornament brought to you tonight by the consequences of your actions. It's great time until you're facing certain doom.
Okay. Nearly there. Actually, I need some more whiskey. Everybody, take 5.
Hey, will you get me one too?
Sure. Sure. Brief intermission. BRB. back. Welcome back. Yes. So, as you've descended through the various levels and are awaiting audience with the King of Crestline, eventually, a diminutive marrow. This is much like the creature who met you, not a Sahuagin. It's not a bipedal, multi-armed, shark-like creature. This is another kind of subaquatic citizen with a merfolk-like body. Swims up and gets your attention. Are you the 11th Ornament?
We are.
Excellent. Our leader will see you now. Do you possess means by which to understand other languages, or shall I translate?
Dorn will just tap the circlet on his head.
I can
Say-
understand them.
I
I can also
should,
speak.
I should be able to translate, if necessary.
It's
Sorry.
also the case that I could cause us all to speak through our minds if that would be more palpable to the situation.
It would be advisable that you use a translator rather than any sort of foreign magic on our leader.
I'll use an action to cast comprehend languages from
Okay.
my helmet.
You reach up and touch. It's like a
My
circlet.
circlet.
Yeah,
I
you
mean-
reach up and touch it on both sides, and the runes stamped into it begin to rapidly
I'll-
change until they become just a blur, and the whole thing turns into a bright copper.
I'll also cast comprehend languages.
That's not concentration, right?
No.
All right.
I'll cast tongues.
Oh. Okay.
Wait, who is left? It's
Vale.
Torvale and
Yes, and Deacon.
oh, this is not a concentration spell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is not a concentration spell.
Nope, it's just a 5th level spell.
It's a 3rd level spell, tongues.
Oh, it's just a 3rd level spell.
And lasts an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, here's what'll happen. I will cast it at the 3rd level. Well, hold on. Aside from me, there are 3 other people who can't understand.
Tongues also lets you speak it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but things does tongues let you understand it? That might be a stupid question.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Moreover, when your target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language. Yeah. I will use resources, I guess. Well, no, I will cast tongues on Vale and Ekin using twin spell.
Okay. Superb use of the spell.
You can spend a number of sort equal to the spell's level. Your target. Okay, so I use 3 sorcery points. Okay. And then I cast the spell. I will not use it on myself though. So I will go up to Ekin and Vale and just touch them on the shoulder. I guess the spell has a verbal component, probably.
Probably.
That would make sense, right? Third level tongues has verbal and material. Just make sure that Dawn doesn't say anything disrespectful.
I'm merely translating what is said.
Dawn, as we approach the chamber, be mindful of your tongue. In fact, maybe you
Don't
only say a
speak
greeting.
their
Actually-
tongue. I'm literally translating
Oh,
what they're
no.
saying.
Actually, the ones who have to be mindful, I think, now are me and Akin.
Because I can't speak
Yeah,
their language,
actually.
and now you two can.
Certainly. In fact, I will keep my mouth shut.
Whatever I say will have to go through their translator.
Yeah, I'll try not to talk either, unless, so moved.
But it is nice to understand them.
I appreciate this.
Oh, tongues means that they can
part.
just understand us like
Yeah.
all the time? Is that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Even if you speak in a language like another language, like a language that you would normally only share with your group.
I had a character that had like constant tongues on him at one point. It's like, okay, you can't keep secrets.
As you were invited through the gates and down into a large chamber. Let me know when it loads for everyone.
It's loading, and it looks
Mhm.
really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Good for me.
That's probably the coolest map you've made so far.
Mm-hmm.
With the fishies.
I didn't make it.
That's the coolest map that you
Wow.
have put in front of us so far. With the
Wow.
fishies.
I just don't want to take
Is
credit
this
because
Jianpeku?
yes,
Wow, you know what this looks like? That children's book with the fish that had the
The
iridescent.
rainbow fish?
Yeah.
Didn't make
your
that
guide swims down with you.
Why do they have health bars, Sid?
I
I asked a question.
It's a very funny question. It's a very funny question.
As you swim down, your guide, he or she, turns to you and says, "We wait here. We must be invited across the coral bridge." As he turns to look up to the pinnacle of the throne, where you can see in the distance a haughty-looking being,
Bella's gonna look annoyed.
thusly.
For those of you who don't know, who are watching from home, that is the art of Zagana, like the leader of the Simic Conclave.
Yes, indeed.
Prime
party
speaker
awaits.
specifically, isn't it?
Yep.
We're good.
Also, for those who don't know, those fins are the fins of a lionfish, one of the most poisonous fish on the planet.
Also, for those of you at home, if you don't know, if you mouse over the tokens, a bigger picture comes up in the...
That's not true. If you're at home, I'm sorry. Well, if you're not us at home.
Also, there is not an active combat encounter.
Also,
There's not an active combat encounter yet.
that's very true.
If we keep doing this, there will be.
Just fuck it. Just roll for initiative. Go.
Who has the cloak of the Manta Ray right now? I forgot if you gave it back.
I
or
would have
not.
given it back to you for
Okay.
sure.
As you wait at the precipice of the coral bridge, looking up at the creature staring down at you from the pinnacle of this coral throne. She gives the very slightest nod, and your guide hurriedly says, "Yes, okay, very well, come with me," and begins to swim across the coral bridge.
Bell will go forward. How are we moving, Sid? Are we actually walking? Are we like, am I doggy paddling forward? Like, what's going on here?
You're underwater, so
Roger.
you're moving by whatever methods or means you have to move underwater, which I imagine is just swimming. Yes. Somewhat undignified, but then this is not really intended for an audience of this kind.
Cloak flares behind me.
My cloak of billowing is billowing. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm staying behind the guy.
Oh, yeah,
I'm staying
okay.
behind the guy.
If anyone's having not the best time swimming, I will guide them along. Hurt my
Okay.
arm. Like the short, like, ow, jeez.
I assume you all proceed forward. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
sorry.
going to attempt to stay in the back.
As you all make your way forward, despite the ability to very easily swim up directly, your guide takes you along the path laid out here, swimming close to the ground and heading up these stairs between these large guards on either side, and stops here at this platform. And she is actually right here. As you all follow and approach, "11th Ornament. Your Majesty, I present you the mercenary group hired to defend our empire. This is the King Vistani." She looks down at you.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. We are grateful for the aid that you seek to give us.
The
deep
individual, highly armored individual next to her, leans down and whispers in her ear. Just like that. She stands and glides forward, almost effortlessly through the water. She begins to speak in a language that you cannot understand.
I have comprehend languages.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Many of you can understand.
Yes.
Everyone except for Alucard can understand?
Correct. Should be in Tor. I don't know if Tor can understand.
Oh, yeah, no. The tour does not understand. Alucard, do you speak, what languages do you speak?
I speak the following languages: Common, Draconic, Elvish, Ignan.
You, oddly enough, can pick up bits and pieces of it. It is Aquan she's speaking.
Gotcha, okay.
So it's also primordial. However, it's a dialect that is not the one that you speak, but you're able to almost follow along as if you were a native Spanish speaker listening to Italian.
Gotcha.
She says, "My ambassador arrived unwelcome to a summit we were not invited to, and struck a deal to save our lives. I am to believe that you are the saviors of my realm."
Does seem that way, yes.
"You are not the first surface dwellers to stand before me in my royal court, but you may very well be the first to leave alive. I had only the wish to look upon you, to make a judgment for myself the likelihood of our demise. As the surface above is overcome with a powerful and tremendous force, we too will be affected. I would ask an unusual favor.
Ask away. We are literally at your beck and call at this point. How long did you practice that, Sid?
Not very. I just did it just now.
Very, very cool. Yeah.
What would you say to allay my fears? The nightmare hovers, shrouds my sleep, threatens my people, my home. What will you do against this terror? 11th Ornament.
To be honest with you, as wild as the situation is, our solution is no less complicated. We intend to travel unto the Underdark, seek out the River Styx, beseech the ferryman Charon to allow us passage to Gardeo. We have means to do this should we prove successful in locating the river. To then it will be up to the graces of one that is actually reasonably certain to be able to take care of the Titan that is on our Earth. Whether that be by empowering us or doing it himself. I recognize that this is a wild idea, but no one else has lifted a finger. No one else seems to be brave enough to even try. And here we are with the means and the gumption to do so.
I do not recognize this god, but nor do I recognize the terror that sweeps across the lands above us. It is not written in our histories.
But this will be written in all of our histories. What we do here today and the days following.
If such histories survive the ages to be read, is there not more that we could offer you than passage to the Underdark? Is there not anything else I could do to bolster the chances of my own people's survival?
My lord, I would say that it'd be hard for us to say what you can offer if we do not know what you offer. We would gladly accept any boon, any knowledge, any guidance in this situation. We have never failed a Titan before. We've never delved into the Underdark. We've never crossed the River Styx.
No, and indeed, my knowledge of such things is limited. I feel powerless.
But you're not powerless. You possess the thing that allows this to continue. Otherwise, we would spend 3 months finding another place to enter the Underdark where you, should your footman's information be correct, could land us there within the day. The speed at which we're able to access the Underdark is vital, saving time for the survival of the islands above and the waters below.
I must take some time to think. You are welcome guests here in Crestline. Please try not to cause any trouble. Please leave.
Can I roll an insight check?
Yes.
I'm just trying to see, like, why does she seem? Is her despondentness like at us or at the situation? Like, why
Okay.
is she feeling this way though?
Yeah.
I got no idea. Oh, I got my
Can
sonic
I-
die if I need to.
That definitely was not a success. If you'd like to roll your psionic die.
Oh, nice.
18.
18. Yeah, with an 18, you are able to discern that she has at some point abandoned hope. And the sight of you as you are does not bolster her hopes. And the sound, your plan laid out before her does not bolster her hopes.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll. I want to insight on the advisor and what he's up to. Like,
Okay.
Can I get anything from like his
What are you up
whispers? Does
to,
he
huh?
seem to be like cutting eyes at us, or is he just like?
No, to the best of your knowledge and ability to ascertain, it's very difficult because again, it's a very alien face to kind of discern. But he seems to just be translating.
Oh, I forgot. Bell could
Yeah.
be understood.
Yeah. He's not like giving her advice. He's translating all of Bell's words.
Right.
Only you and Vale can speak Mara right now.
As we turn to walk away,
Mhm.
Alakar's gonna turn back to face. It's obviously a she, but she is a king. By that, like that's how he's.
Yeah, you actually get the impression
Okay.
that's just a fluke of translation. All the nations around Crestline have kings by
Gotcha.
happenstance. So when they learn common, they call it a king, but it's
Gotcha. Okay. I'll turn around.
King means monarch, not
Yeah.
male monarch.
male monarch per se, right?
What was her name again? I'm sorry.
Vistani.
Son. King Vistani.
As your guide here, the one who kind of led you up, kind of looks at you very nervously because he's like you've been dismissed, but you're still turning to talk. But you can talk past him, but he looks like very.
I will not claim to be a savior of this world. I will not claim to have any real knowledge of how this difficult situation will get resolved. I will say that these gentlemen and lady before you have saved the entire world of Toril once before. They, to my knowledge, stopped the death curse that ravaged the entire world. And as such, though the situation may seem dire, and the outcome seems uncertain, and the means of our plan might seem unorthodox, I can say with my life that these gentlemen and this lady will not stop until they have stopped Synanos. They will give their lives. Okay. Okay. We had a long rest, didn't we?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will use my Tides of Chaos to get advantage.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Both very low rolls, but okay.
She
I
says.
guess I can now. Wait. I guess I can. There's something I can do actually still.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken. Do I actually have two abilities that do almost the same thing? Magical guidance says what?
Isn't it
I
at a
think you have to use
D4?
it before you.
Hold on. It says when you make an ability check that fails.
Okay.
You can spend one sorcery point to re-roll the d20, and you must use a new roll.
Okay.
Would you say I failed?
I would say that fails. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm gonna choose to re-roll the. Well, I'll re-roll the 6. Okay, so
Yeah, you rerolled. Yeah. The check.
Yeah. That's a sorcery point. Hold on. I'm also gonna ask another question, Sid. Because I don't know how these things stack. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay. Roll persuasion. $21.
Okay. A sense of comfort, despite her intention to hide her emotions a little bit, does wash over her as her advisor translates your words. Then let us hope that their might matches their convictions, lest you all be shattered like ships upon the rocks. You will leave this evening. Prepare yourselves. Rest. Take of our hospitality.
I will nod and I will turn around and start walking away.
Okay. And this time your guide really does start ushering you with his arms out. Just go in. As you all swim down past the guards again and southward. Zoop, 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 zoop. And I'll leave this map up for the sake of, well, I'll put the other map up. I led back up and into a a new kind of apartment sort of area. It just kind of looks like guest rooms. They do have things that are like beds. They're just like seaweed covered, but it's like living seaweed. You don't rest very heavily upon them. You just kind of float upon them. It's really interesting, all the kind of architecture and nuances that you see in this underwater society. You're kind of led to a room that has a balcony vista of the city, creeping up along the walls of the massive trench, clinging to the stones, great spires that would topple above water, extending up and out of sight. As your guide takes you to these chambers. We are preparing the expedition to go below. I would suggest you garner your strength. There are many dangers in the depths, and you do not seem well equipped to conduct combat beneath the surface. If there is anything I can provide for you at the time being, please let me know.
Can you guys watch our ship while we're gone?
Oh. Yes, actually. We had intended to store it, but were unable to move it.
Mm-hmm. We can figure that out. Just
very well. And he departs. Leaving you all once again alone with your thoughts. Now looking out over the bay, as the sun from far above begins to pierce through the fathoms betwixt you and the surface. We will have a new...
How much time until we leave?
Gosh, Mason, you can go whenever you want, man. Just...
I mean, like, are we gonna have time for a long rest?
Probably not a long rest, no. Probably not quite long enough for a long rest.
How long has it been since we were first escorted to the first waiting room?
I'd say all in all, since you left the Marpanoth, it's been about an hour and a half.
Okay. And we've got like 3 hours that
3
we're gonna
hours.
wait.
Well, you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
As you can see from your balcony out over the space here, you see the hustle and bustle of a strange parody of the port cities that you've seen on the surface. Commerce taking place, trade, the same sort of struggles and strifes that you see people from all walks of life undertake. And a couple of hours pass. Put you guys up here.
I will take the time that we're waiting to heft the Kanabo and practice swinging it and combat underwater.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
to get kind of acclimated.
I wish there was stuff that I could do to like prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Guess just be glad I shoot magic dagger hands.
Yeah.
Because I don't think arrows are gonna work well under here.
Sid, you said we would not get a long rest, we would get a short rest?
Yes.
Okay. During the short rest, I would like to... You said we have quarters that we could be in?
Yes, you're in kind of like a communal apartment, per se. Kind
Okay.
of like a lounge.
I would like to... Hoping that this is not the time that something bad's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to try to get my Ties of Chaos back.
Okay. You're in a room that it looks like it's made out of one massive clamshell. The floor and ceiling both kind of curve up to the center, and at the top, where there would be like a chandelier or something, there is a giant pearl-shaped globe that is illuminating the rest of the room. It's about 30 feet across, and then out through the lip of the shells, there's like a balcony. There's like a railing, and you can peer out over and look at the marina below. And there are these seaweed beds and couches, sea sponge couches, and things just arranged around. There are pieces of art along the walls, kind of just hanging. They seem to be like carved shell in bas relief, just to give you kind of a scene, an image. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
Well, before I do that, I am going to convert their two spell slots into sorcery points. But and then I'm going to wild magic, surge. Please don't let this be the time where something really bad happens. All of your hair permanently falls out. Only a spell such as remove curse can end this effect.
Holy shit! Is that just Jerry being meaning, or is that what really happened?
That's what really happens.
No, that's literally what happened. Oh, great. Okay.
Oh.
All of Alucard's beautiful hair falls out and drifts to the shell floor.
Oh my gosh.
How could this day get any worse? Well, there's that. Don't say I never did anything for you.
Okay, and with that, there is a moment later a knock at the door, and in glides a massive marrow with a long chest, and he sets it down. And he leaves.
I'll walk over to it, nod at him, and
You'll swim over to it.
yeah, I'll waddle over to it, wade over to it. I will float over to it.
Excuse me.
Okay, and then what?
I'll open it.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna look at it.
Within, there are a number of things. there is a long brass trident.
I'll set it up in the thing and see if it floats or if it sinks down to the ground. Is
Um,
this space, Sid? Is this...
No, I mean it's a trident. As you lift it, it feels unnaturally light. I don't think this is something that many of you could use, but it is appears to be a magical item, of some kind.
Righto, righto.
There is also a set of scale mail armor. It appears to be made of fish scales that shimmer silvery. It also feels incredibly light for its strength. Tug on it. Scale mail armor is medium armor.
Medium.
So that I don't know if any of you could use that either. But it is.
I would be capable of using that.
Yeah, both those. Either one of I could use that too.
There is also a ring with a sapphire set into it. And additionally, there is a large pearl.
I'll use the wand to detect magic to see if any of these things are indeed magic.
All of them are magic.
All right. I will set about identifying them with the ritual casting of Identify.
Okay. Yeah.
Starting with the gems.
Or
Or whatever the DM decides.
no. Okay, so the pearl is a pearl of power. Hold on just a minute. Yeah, pearl is a pearl of power. Which says while this pearl is on your person, you can use an action to speak its command word and regain one expended spell slot of 3rd level or lower.
It's a one-use thing.
No.
Whoa.
That's actually.
Oh, well, so
nice.
once you've used the pearl, it can't be used again until next dawn.
Ah. I was like, that feels really OP.
Yeah, it would be if it was just like zoop, 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 zoop. Yeah, the ring is a ring of watery sphere. It allows the user to once per day cast the watery sphere spell. DC 12. Which is, for those of you who don't know, it's basically the Dumbledore spell. The scale mail is +1 Mariner's scale mail. So it, well, not Mariner's per se. +1 scale mail, it gives you a swim speed equal to your walking speed. Oh, no, I lied. The scale mail is +1 scale mail. It gives you water breathing. The Trident is a +3 Trident that gives you swim speed equal to your walking speed.
Sorry, the Trident is a +3.
Yes, gives you swim speed equal to your walking speed.
And what was the pearl was one thing. What was the other gem?
The ring?
Water
Sapphire?
sphere.
Yeah. Is
The
water
ring
what?
of watery sphere.
Okay. And Are all of these attunement, I assume?
The trident and the armor are not.
Okay. I don't think I can use the trident. Val
think
says,
that-
anyone knows how to use this?
Yeah, I don't
Anyone?
know that. I mean, these are just gifts from the king.
Yeah.
I think. I think
You guys are
technically I
so
can-
well equipped. I'm not sure there's anything I could put in front of you that you'd be like, yeah, I want that, rather than my awesome items. But
Is
mean,
is the trident a reach weapon?
It is. I
Mm,
think
It's
it's
10
not.
foot
It's not?
instead of
It's not.
It's not.
5.
Yeah, tridents are bad at 5e. They're expensive spears. That's it. But they're not bad. But it's
basically a spear.
Okay.
a +3 though, which is not a game changer if you have a +2 already. But
Yeah.
if you don't have I technically am proficient with it. I just have a 10 in strength, so. And I
Yeah.
have already have the benefit that it. In fact, I have a better benefit than that.
Okay. So a +1 scale mail makes your base AC
15 plus 2 is what it would be for you.
Plus dex
So
max
17.
2. Yeah.
Yeah. 17 is what it would be for you.
Pretty sure
Huh.
you're wearing +2 scale mail.
I am, but it only gives my AC 14 plus dex max 2.
No, it doesn't. It gives it 16 with the +2 on top of that. If you're wearing +2 scale mail, whatever you just said is the base stats of scale mail. Regular.
Ah,
Yes,
Scale
yes,
mail
yes.
gets plus-
Standard scale mail is 14 plus dexterity up to a maximum of +2, and then your scale mail armor is +2. So you add 2 more. So your armor gives you 18. Then you've got
Ah.
your ring of protection and your
Your fighting style.
fighting style and your floating shield. This would, if you were to switch, you would drop AC by 1, but have water breathing.
Okay. I don't think that my AC total is correct then.
What is your AC total right now? What does it
It
say?
says it's 22.
That is absolutely correct.
It isn't, because I have. If you're telling me that my base is 18
You have a +1
Plus-
from
plus 1 from the ring, which is 19, plus 2 from the animated shield, which is 21.
Mhm. +1 from your fighting style. It's 22.
Yeah, I think that's right. When your shield's animated.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. You're probably right.
Yeah, have ACs above 20 are not easy to get, so like
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
it would go down by 1, but
I will
Okay.
say,
Okay.
let me say this, for the purposes of it just being a strictly more interesting and party-driven item. The Pearl is a Pearl of Power Plus. It's a massive Pearl of Power. It can restore up to a spell slot of level 4. It could also be used instead to restore 4 key points or 4 sorcery points, and it does not require attunement but can still only be used once a day. So it's a party item.
That is a generous DM that I just heard speak.
So you can hang on to it, or 4 psi points. Just, why not?
Okay.
So
Very cool.
yeah,
we're
it can
for
basically
action searches.
no, not 4 action surges. I'm sorry.
Maybe 1 action surge?
No, no, I don't think so. So that will be something that you can all definitely use. You'll just have to decide who gets to use it daily.
Well.
You can almost all of you actually.
See, I was gonna say fire. I'm willing to take the Trident.
Okay.
The scale mail is what is medium armor.
Medium.
It is.
So it grants. How much dex can you add? Plus, does just
Plus
do the
two.
max?
+2.
If you have at least +2 dexterity, it will give you an armor class of
17.
17.
Sorry, one more time.
If you have
If
at
you
least
have
+2
two.
to dex, it gives you an armor class of 17.
Oh. Is that better than my Elven Chain? It might be. 13 plus 2. Yeah, because my AC is 15.
Yeah, it might be better than your Elven Chain.
My Elven Chain, sorry, my AC is 16 right now. But if it'll be 17, I'll take it.
Okay. It also gives you water breathing perpetually.
What's the name of it? Is it just +1 scale mail water?
Yeah, rainbow scale mail. Just kidding. It is +1 scale mail, but it's made from fish scales. It's like silvery.
But I would just import +1 scale mail.
Yes, and then add the water breathing text. Somebody write down those changes I made for the Pearl of Power. Never mind, I'll do it. I don't trust you all.
You know, that's hurtful but fair.
Pearl. Power.
But no one else wanted the +3 Trident?
In the
It
bag
would
of holding.
go- It would no, it would go to you, or because you are the thing that gives you proficiency in all these things, like, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
just have to turn it into a packed weapon, right?
Yeah.
Right. I get okay.
Hmm.
So
Uh,
the question.
Don't get proficiency in medium armor.
Yeah, you do.
As a
that
hex
came-
blade or as a
Yeah, you get it as a hexblade, not a pact of the. He's not a hexblade.
Oh, you're not a hexblade. You're a genie.
Oh, is Elven Chain?
Elven Chain has the
just
rider
gives you
that.
Oh,
wear it.
okay.
That's true.
That's-
Elven
Never
Chain allows
mind.
you to
Never mind.
wear it if you're proficient in light armor. Yeah.
But for the Trident, it has to be my pack weapon for me to be proficient with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
So-
do gain.
Yeah, that would.
March,
Yeah,
March
Yes.
that'd
weapons?
be you, Thorn or Tor, who
Okay.
can have a swim speed equal to his walking speed already.
Well, I will unequip. I will unequip and I will remove that item. I guess it'll go into the bag of holding. And the Trident gives you water breathing.
Swim speed.
Oh,
equal to
so
your
see.
walking speed.
Here we go, Cameron. Now you could theoretically use it. And with that, gentlemen, we are coming up on our time limit for tonight, since it is a weeknight. I guess Sundays are always weeknights, but Mondays are rough. Not a lot of conflict, fortunately, in this session, as you all have reached your destination in Crestline and are faced now with the prospect of descending ever deeper into the depths and approaching the Underdark. Next week on the 11th Ornament.
11th Ornament.
So consistent. I appreciate that. All right,
We're here
guys.
for you, bud.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.